All right, thanks for joining me again. So last week I learned how to plastic weld with my plastic welding kit from Harbor Freight Tools, and I did it enough so that I feel ready to fix my rear sunshade. So this is the rear door sunshade for my BMW. It's on the passenger side, and stupid me, as I was taking the door panel off, I guess I missed this screw and I was pulling on it and it ended up breaking the mounting point right here. So at first I thought, all right, no big deal, I'll just order a new one. As you've seen in my other video though, these door shades are ridiculously expensive. The little one was 660 bucks, the corner size. This bigger one here was less expensive, only 330 something bucks. So still more than I want to spend, especially since I don't use it that frequently. The car's 21 years old. So let's do some plastic welding. Alrighty, so let's take this screw out first. Let me get a Phillips head screwdriver. Handy dandy Craftsman screwdriver back from the days when Craftsman's tools were actually good stuff, and you could pick up a busted one at a garage sale for a quarter and bring it to your closest Sears and get a brand new one. Not that I did that. Not that I did that often. All right, so you got the two mounting screws. So here is the bracket. You can see where it broke off. It's a little wider, and so I believe it just fits back on like so. So what I'm thinking of doing, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to first use some crazy glue. This is some cheap super glue, cyanoacrylate acrylic. I'm going to paint some of this on there and just tack that back into position so it's how I want to do it, because it's going to be hard to hold it otherwise. And next, once I get that tacked in position, I'm going to cut up some of the mesh that came with the plastic welding kit. I'm going to cut a piece and I'm going to weld it. Most likely I'm going to do it on the back side here, because it's a little easier to reach. I'll just have to make sure I keep this nice and as smooth as I can. I'm just going to get a rectangular piece and just cut it so it fits over top of this and embeds down in here to make it nice and strong. I know I'm going to be covering the hole, but that's all right. I'm just going to take a drill, or maybe I could just use an awl and just kind of punch through there, and that way I can screw it back in the door. All right, so I got my plastic welding iron heating up. Well, let's get some super glue going. Let's do that first. Get that out of the way. So I lost the tip to it. This is the only one I could find. I don't know, I have no clue where the little tips went, but I do have a little brush, so hopefully I can just punch a hole in this and brush some on there and glue it. I wish I had some accelerant, but I don't have any of that either. It's not dried out. Let me just clean my awl off. Get my paper towel, get my pieces. Brush a thin coat on there. Brush a little bit on this. Again, the side where it broke. Yeah. Trying to do this without gluing my fingers to it. Okay, it's starting to tack up already. I can feel a little bit that it's got on my fingers. I wish wish I had the accelerant. I could just kind of spray it and it'd be done. But it's starting to set up. So my little brush and my little, what's left of the tube's gonna be junk, but I'm not gonna throw it away quite yet, just in case I still need it. Spread that out a little bit on both sides. I'm just thinking after I did this, does anybody know if super glue is flammable? I'm going to be heating this up quite a bit once it's dry. Guess we'll find out. I have a fire extinguisher somewhere. Got a bucket. Worst case, I throw the whole thing into a bucket and hose it off. Okay, while that's working, let's get some mesh and cut a little piece up. It's going to be about so wide. Found this in my tool drawer. Let's see if this works better. Nope. Diagonal cutting pliers. Nope. All right, let's go back to the shears that I used last time. Just gotta make sure I stick it deep into the throat. Perfect. All right, so I got the width, and I think that's a pretty good length. Cutting pliers for that last little bit. There we go. Just flatten this a little bit. It got all bent up out of shape as I was maneuvering. Okay, that's good. And then I'll just need to punch a little hole through here. Probably just use a drill for that. I can try using this. I think it'll be stronger that way. Actually, let me move it a little side so that the mesh will be all around the hole. So I'll have reinforcement on either side. Okay, let's see if that iron's hot yet. Ah, there it is, it's getting there. Okay, and here we go. I'm just gonna try tacking it in place on one end and then just kind of work my way up. That seemed to work last time. And this part's the boring part. You just gotta sit there, heat the metal up until it sinks into the plastic. It's starting to work. Again, the nice thing about doing this with plastic, you can hold the parts with your fingers, it doesn't get that hot. I got it embedded there a little bit. I want to kind of do it fairly evenly so as to not bend the metal too much. Now we're cooking with some electricity. Still looks pretty straight. I think so. Just gotta embed this up on this side of the hole. You can see once it gets a little darker, fills in. Just one last little bit over here. Smooth that down a little bit. How's that looking? Pretty good. Alrighty, almost there. Last little bit up there. Good. I mean, I guess technically I could try to do that in there, but the problem is I can't get this tip in there You could try it with a regular soldering iron, but I think that might be more of a hassle than it's worth. So, all right, awesome. Still hot, still hot. All right, gotta let that cool off, and then once that's cool off, I'm gonna take my drill and I'm gonna drill out the screw hole. All right, be back in a few minutes, or an hour or two if I get busy doing other projects. Okay, so it's about an hour and a half later, and it's all dry. So now let's just pop that hole through so I can get the screw through there. So for this, I decided I'm gonna try using my Dremel rather than the lab handpiece. Simply because that dental lab handpiece, I left it in the basement and I don't feel like going down to the basement to get it. So let me crank up the power on this. Should be easy just to punch through that. And will that fit through there? A little bit more. A tight fit. That was a little too much. Okay. Well, that was a cock up. A little bit too big of a hole. Well, you know what that means, though. Time for a little bit more plastic welding. Man, I hate shit like this when it happens. This is just like that. This is just like that Paula Abdul sound. One step forward, 2 steps back, or whatever, however the hell it goes. And I'm gonna have to do this from this side. Just gotta warm this up again. And I'm not gonna use the Dremel again. I'm just going to fill this in, and then I'm just gonna use a round file to safely open her up. So, but that's good. So that'll show you about how much I gotta fill in. This whole area's got to get filled in. It's like everything, though, right? There's never time to do it the right way the first time, but there's always time to redo it. It's starting to warm up. Waiting, I'm waiting for a welding iron like you to come into my life. I've been waiting for something new. Now a little bit in there. Just do a little bit more. Just need enough so that the screw will stay in the right position. Keep it from rattling. That'll work. I think that'll be enough. See if I can just smooth it down from this side. Again, access is a little hard to reach, but I think I can smooth it. I can sneak that tip in there just enough. And final smooth. Yeah, that'll work. Luckily, the way it sits, the top edge is going to bear the weight, not my little cobbled up piece. All right, so let's go to the car now and see if we can reinstall this. All right, I'm back out to my car, and I know, I haven't fixed this yet. Don't worry, I'm going to get to it. So, but I do have Phillips screwdriver. I got the 2 Phillips head screws, and I have the sunshade with my crappy repair. So let's try to remember where this attaches to. Pretty sure one goes here, and there's the other spot right there. And I do have this little piece of trim, I gotta figure out which way that pops in too. For that, I'll probably have to take the other side of the door apart to remember. But let's do this. Okay, since this is the good side over here, should have magnetized my screwdriver too. That's the other way of doing it, a little bit of grease on the screw head. So we got it. All right, so this goes here. Sure, get it in the hole. That's what she said. That's started. Thread this in. All right. Cinch these two down tight. And I believe this goes on this side. Maybe? No? This fabric looks like this fabric, so I have a feeling this goes on either side of it, but this might attach to the door panel, which is down in my basement somewhere. So I'm going to put this back into storage on the floor of my car, and we'll get to that next once I do this. Again, just cinch those down. This side needs a little bit more cinching. That feels pretty sturdy. Maybe a little bit more on this side. Think I'll bust it. I think that'll work. Yay, I just saved 330 something bucks. Awesome, although I have to be real careful because this is more fragile on this side, so I gotta be careful not to break it again when I'm reinstalling everything. And just cinch this down so next time it rains, it doesn't leak in. Seems like I do this right before every rainstorm. Keep it from leaking into the car. But yeah, I gotta get some new stuff with this and just replace it because this isn't holding yet. Dog hair seems to stick to it. So I can smush it in, and then by tomorrow it'll be sagging again. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next one.